What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be reviewing and breaking down The Flash Season 8, Episode 12. So guys, the episode starts right where we left off in last episode with the introduction of DEATHSTORM to this season. Barry goes up against him, and this is where we find out that Barry's lightning does absolutely nothing to affect DEATHSTORM. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what happens with him here. But yeah, DEATHSTORM seems like a super threatening villain here too. He's a really comic book accurate villain. He looks very similar to that. And yeah, honestly, the CGI isn't too bad, even though they're in the Flash Season 8. So yeah, really looking forward to what else they've got here with DEATHSTORM. Now, we also see Iris return, even though she disappeared because of Tinya last episode, if you guys remember that. Tinya basically made her disappear. And this was actually a pretty good scene right here between Iris and Barry, especially because of the music they used in the background. It was a soundtrack from like earlier seasons, so it was really cool to hear that again. But yeah, the season so far, I think, is definitely making a lot of callbacks to the earlier seasons, but still obviously not even close to the same. So we also see DEATHSTORM kill someone, and it actually almost looked like DEATHSTORM himself had super speed in this episode. So yeah, I'd say after this scene, DEATHSTORM is the best main villain we've had since Bloodwork. I really believe that. Godspeed definitely should have been a very good main villain, but I think he was very average because he didn't really get that good of a storyline. But yeah, DEATHSTORM so far looks great. Now guys, Joe is also helping more at CCPD in this episode, which, that was great to see, but I really wish we saw more of Barry doing CSI work in this season, or, just recent seasons. And although Joe is helping at CCPD, like I just said, I think he should still be the captain. CCPD felt like a better location in the show and just like a necessary location when Barry and Joe were there a lot. You had characters like Captain Singh, Eddie, all those old characters that are definitely that really just make CCPD a great location. I feel like, the characters at CCPD are definitely not as good as they used to be. So yeah, those scenes are just kind of disappointing to watch. So basically then Team Flash ends up using Cecile's abilities to find DEATHSTORM, and they find out that DEATHSTORM is basically in Star Labs, blah blah blah, but then he is able to take over people now, I guess. DEATHSTORM ends up taking over Cecile, and that scene was scary. They definitely tapped into the horror aspect of this season right there with this scene. Yeah, that was absolutely insane. That scene was very scary. Now guys, I'm also really enjoying how much Caitlin was put into this storyline. It seems like in the past couple of seasons, she really hasn't had a lot of contribution to these storylines. So it's a bit of a refresher and a little bit of a callback to the earlier seasons as well, with Caitlin, having an actual storyline. Now guys, Allegra also had a storyline this episode, and as you guys could probably guess, I didn't care about it at all. But anyways, DEATHSTORM going after Caitlin. Here's my theory about why he's actually just going after Caitlin. I think a piece of Ronnie is still alive inside of DEATHSTORM, and DEATHSTORM is trying to get rid of that piece by killing Caitlin, which in turn would allow DEATHSTORM to take full control. I feel like it's sort of like the, back in Season 1 when it was Martin Stein and Ronnie Raymond, trying to decide who's who and, what's happening when they were originally merged into Firestorm. So anyways, then DEATHSTORM ends up kidnapping Caitlin, and Barry chases after him, and we honestly get a pretty cool scene with Barry being able to create lightning platforms in order to stay in the air. That's definitely unique. We obviously have never seen that on The Flash before. We also see DEATHSTORM, who again kills more people, and he doesn't actually want to kill Caitlin, so my theory was wrong on that, but he wants to transform Caitlin so she can become DEATHSTORM's bride. So maybe I was still right about a piece of Ronnie being alive somewhere in there, obviously because, DEATHSTORM wants to make Caitlin, still wants to be with Caitlin. But yeah, DEATHSTORM also says that Caitlin isn't quote-unquote ready to become his bride yet, so something has to happen before DEATHSTORM can make Caitlin his. We then find out that Ronnie's grief created DEATHSTORM in the Singularity at the end of Season 1, and Team Flash finds out a way to stop DEATHSTORM, but it's extremely dangerous, and Frost volunteers to do it, so maybe this is the death that they're talking about in Episode 14, which is titled, Funeral for a Friend, I believe is what it's called. But then at the end, guys, we have a crazy cool scene. Iris is seeing Eddie THAWNE. Now, why is he here? I have a few theories. The first one is that DEATHSTORM is, playing mind games, which has happened before, but in this case, I find highly unlikely because Iris hasn't really been involved with the DEATHSTORM storyline that much. She's had her own time sickness stuff going on. But then the second theory is that this is because of the still force, and I think this one is the most likely. I think this is actually Eddie, and he's just been displaced and put into the wrong time. I think that is definitely possible. And my third theory, guys, is that this is, some sort of like afterlife type of thing. I think that, this could be like Iris is hallucinating Eddie, like maybe, the universe or something like that is sensing that Iris is dying, so basically Eddie's like luring her into the afterlife or something along those lines. I think that's also possible here. But yeah, guys, I'd say this episode was alright. It definitely started off very, very slow. It wasn't very interesting toward the beginning, but toward the end, it got very, very good, especially with the Eddie THAWNE stuff, the DEATHSTORM, mystery stuff that's going on. This DEATHSTORM storyline, besides a few things here and there, I think has been very, very good, especially with all these characters. And by the trailer for next episode, this is going to be a very, very good one. So yeah, I'm really excited for what else they got for us in the rest of the season. But anyways, I'd say that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to comment your thoughts on this video down below, as well as your thoughts on all of the stuff from this episode. What do you guys think of it? What do you guys think of the Eddie THAWNE stuff, the DEATHSTORM stuff? Just comment all that down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.